Hi there, Fabian here from ReachCPA. We've got some questions regularly, but a few in the last few months here about whether QuickBooks Online or Xero would be the better software set up for a specific client or not. And yeah, so I just want to go over, there's lots of kind of videos and contents you can look online for that compares the two, but I want to give you, I guess, more uh, I guess to be candid, probably bias take on it, uh, and kind of show you a few things why we prefer Xero over QuickBooks Online. So I don't want to bash on QuickBooks Online. It's a good software and probably has its place for some clients. So I'll try to be as balanced as possible, but I will look at a few things that are sort of key differences that for us I guess we had to make the decision many years ago to focus on one versus both or versus the other and why we came to that decision. So looking for on both sides is the dashboard that you would get when you're coming in. So in here you have essentially your bank accounts that are set up. If you had more bank accounts, it would kind of keep going down. You have a little bit of a cash in, cash outs. You have invoice owed to you, bills you need to pay, and you can an expense claim. So if you had any clients that needed to submit an expense, you would see that there. Um, on any of those, you can and that's one of the advantages of Xero that is, in my mind, or as far as I see, limited in QuickBooks Online, is the ability to not lose your place. So if you're going down a rabbit hole and you need to investigate something, you want to see what this is, you can right-click on the fields and open a new tab, open a new window, so you can look at it side by side if you want to. And same thing here, I can still drill, and I'm like, oh, what happens with Bayside this month? I can click on this, and I can drill again and I still have all of my tabs so that I've not lost anything. If I want to do that in here, and maybe somebody that knows more what they're doing here would be able to do it, but um, if I click on here maybe, yeah, so all right, so let's go back here. So that's the right place to go for seeing my invoices, but if I right click on it, it doesn't allow me to pop into another page. Not here, not here. So the only way I can kind of go to it is if I lose this page here and I go to it. And so kind of a thing. And then if I want to drill into this and be like, oh, why is this overdue by so long? Or what else does this person owes us? I get some nice information here. So I want to actually see the invoice. View edit maybe? Let's see. Yep, we're here. But then I cannot right click on the name. I can't do anything to see the rest of his invoices. I just see that one here and I have to go back out to see it. So one thing that's for us a big plus. And maybe like I should take a step back. Like the reality is that both of them, let's go back to the dashboard on both of them. Both of them have the same basic features. Uh, there's a lot of like create and all kinds of stuff here, but you can customize this layout here and delete anything you don't need. Same kind of thing here. You can edit the dashboard and delete any of those that you don't need. If you want to quickly create something here, you have the little plus icons, which lets you kind of create invoices, bills, and all kinds of stuff. You have this little plus icon here that lets you do this very easily here. And you might see, oh, there's a lot more options here. It's just organized differently. So here they have invoice, receive payments, and then statements, and they have like a place for um, that they charge and deposits, I think. Oh, do they have deposit receipt payments? Anyway, all of those would be on the invoices here on this side, where once you're here, it will prompt you to say that you want to create um, a deposits or anything like that. I guess. Oh, sorry. On this receive money here. If you go here, it will say, oh, do you want to, what account is this for, where you're receiving the money, and do you want direct payments or prepayments and overpayment of an invoice? So we can record deposits here and all kinds of stuff. The same way, it's just different ways to get there. So everything is there. Manual journal, same as journal entries. The only thing that will, and we'll talk about that, is like there's no payroll in for Canada anyway in Xero, but it's not. I'll tell you how the assumption that we have for that is actually more elegant than what is there for QuickBooks Online. But yeah, it's all there and possible. So that basic stuff is done. If we look at, I mean, you can look at this and say like, okay, well, I can customize this, but maybe I find this interface maybe a little cleaner still. If we go to this bank reconciliation feature, set up a little bit differently here. So Xero, the way they do it is this side here is the bank statements. So that's what actually appears on your bank statements. And so both software, you connect your bank account and it will let you at the end of every day, it will download the transactions for the day and then come back and you'll be able to see that. So this is the bank statements on QuickBooks Online. You just don't have this other side here. So on here, if you when you are in the bank statements, it might say something like, "Oh, this payment match that you spent match a bill that you've raised," and so you can easily click OK on that, and it clears it. You can set up rules and same kind of things. So rules might say something like, every time you sub something from 7-Eleven, it's 5% GST and it goes to meals and entertainment. So set up the rules and you can clear that. Same thing here. This one gives you the matches here. Or in this case, it's got 2 matches, so you kind of have to pick which one you want to match it with, but you match it, and that's fine. If there was only one, it would have a little match button here, and you can set up rules, same kind of thing. It's just over here, so there's presumably none created right now, but you can create a rules, and so all of that is very similar for both. It's just a matter of whether you prefer this interface, like this is the bank feed, this is what it kind of needs to match to, or if you prefer this interface here. And like everything, you can do a transfer between accounts. This is just this button here. If you have to create something quick, you just fill up those fields here if that's sufficient. If you need to break down an amount between multiple things, you just click on this add details. It will pop up with a more full screen. Looks like this here. And you can split up the amounts and things like that. And that's there. Here you just go to split and you do the same thing. So all very, very, very similar. You can add an attachment here. One of the things that's actually nice with Xero, that's actually a big thing for us, is the ability to add HubDoc. So HubDoc is and maybe that's worth a second video, but HubDoc is a document repository system. And so you send your invoices to HubDoc or your bills and all kinds of stuff to HubDoc, and it will extract all the information from it, and then you can publish that to Xero. So essentially, instead of like having to type in every single bills you need to do, it kind of sends that. It does it automatically and keeps your documents organized by vendors or customers after the fact too. So very handy things. It's included with Xero pricing, which we'll talk about in a little bit, but it allows you to kind of like get some of this even more automatic here because you have everything is attached to the place and you have a little bit more match. Whereas this one here, I think you can connect QuickBooks Online to HubDoc or to some other software that do some other things, but you have to pay for those separately. So a little bit of but you can add attachments here as well. So that's all good. One thing that is, so you get, if you want to look at your bank statements, you can go here or you can go here. If you want to look at just the GL account and what's there, you can go at your categorize here or you can go on the account transaction here, all the same. The one that's not, or that I'm not aware is on QuickBooks Online, this is cash coding. So if you had a lot of transactions that were all the same, like, I don't know, like say, this one, say like this was all meals entertainment. You can come here and say meals, or maybe it's, yeah, let's put advertising. Advertising, tap over and classify everything, and then you can click the save and reconcile and we'll get rid of all of them at the same time. So if you have a lot of small, well, lots of volume of transactions are all the same and you don't really need the receipts for them, you just want to classify them. This is a kind of an easy way, so that's a handy thing to have. Reconciliation report, it's here or there. On this one, I think to see them on QuickBooks Online, you have to go to transactions, reconcile. Similar account process, all the features are there. So really, I want to focus more on the sort of key difference. And so one of them was this system here of being able to right click and just keep popping the things next and just drill into anything you need. The other thing that I like, and again, I'm coming, I guess, full disclosure, I'm an accountant. So usually, recording transactions is one part of it, and I'm going to give to both of them, the interface look a little differently. You might have preference between what's, a little bit more cluttered and maybe less cluttered, or the features that are kind of really available, but both of them will do that part very good. The part I also do as an accountant, and probably as a business owner you would want to be able to do as well, is drilling into those numbers and understanding those numbers. So that's a place where I think Xero shines a lot more. So that ability to drill is a lot more powerful here. If we go to report, here I get like my standard report, so that's fine, we'll try there. But if I want to see the reports in Xero, I can go here and my favorite reports are right here. So in QuickBooks Online, I get my favorite report here, but I still have to kind of go to the report. So a couple more clicks, and then I can start anything that I like. In Xero, if I want to see the full report list, I will go here, but anything that as my favorite is right there, kind of just one click away, literally. So I'll bring up this report and this one, and then can have a look at all the reports that are there. Both of them have quite extensive reports, all very comparable. But some of the things you can do in the reports are a little bit different. So I'm going to open a balance sheet and a profit and loss. And I've got a balance sheet and a profit and loss in here as well. So one of the things that I like in Xero is I can come here and I can look at this by compared to a year, compared to a quarter. I can compare to 4 months. I can compare to 12 months if I wanted to. It will all pull that out. If I want to look at categories, so categories are like if you had like different, maybe different locations or something like that for your, or different departments within your company, you can set up categories for those. Same thing in QuickBooks Online, that's a very similar features. But if I want to see a report that compares like all my departments for March 31st, I can click on here and there's like this compare. In this case, it's region. So, and you can customize the name of them. So your category can be departments or regions or locations. So, or managers or sales professional, sales manager or something like that. So this one they named it region. So you can kind of look at a thing by region easily here. So you get your sales for the month, or you can customize that here as you need. But if we go back to basic profit and loss, this one here in QuickBooks Online, you can only see one period at a time. You can see like easily dollar change, percentage change, but I cannot get, and maybe somebody else knows how to do it, but it's not really available for me, the way to like see multiple months at a time. So, and it's kind of limited to in terms of like previous year, previous period, year to dates, and those kind of things. Whereas here, like one thing that I like to do, like for many of our clients and for myself, like my business is cyclical, right? So I'm busier at this time of the year than I am in the summer. So I might want to look at this quarter, and I might want to compare this quarter with the last 4 year of, not like full year, but just the quarters of the last 4 years, like the first quarter of the last 4 years, right? So quarter one of the last 4 years, to be able to see like, okay, my busy time of the year, how does it compare to my other busy times of the last 4 years? I don't see any way to kind of do that very easily in QuickBooks Online. And again, maybe I'm just not as used to it and it's out there somewhere, but it's definitely not like a few clicks away here. The other thing I can do here, and I guess I can easily, again, like do this right click and pop that into another one. And if I want to look at purchase against it, I can do that. And if I had something for the previous year, I can still pop it up and I have lots of tabs. In this one, if I right click on it, it's not giving it anything. So if I want to do a comparative of like, oh, what's happening between my sales for, like what's the big difference between my sales of 2025 versus 2024, it's not letting me click. So I have to click on it and then pull the report, maybe download it to, and the download is not very, where is it even? Weird. I'm not seeing. Oh, okay, export is up here, so I guess they've changed their things. It used to be kind of over in this corner here, whereas like in Xero, it's always kind of like here, and it's really handy. So that's one of the other things. A little bit of feature. Both software will handle multi-currency. Xero is the only software that adjusts that multi-currency, and I guess that's getting a little technical. But say you have a bill that you've paid that's in US dollars or in euros, and the bill was raised for last month, and you're kind of like you have to pay now. Xero will give you like how much it would cost you to pay now. So like if you look at your accounts payable details, I'm not sure if there's an example in this demo account here. Usually it shows as a little US kind of icons beside it, or the currency in one of the columns, but there's nothing here. Anyway, long story short, it gives you the current value in Canadian dollars for paying that bill, not what you've already, like what it was worth sort of like a month ago when you raised the bill. And QuickBooks Online does not do that. So we'll give you like, say, you pay something for €1,000 and it was worth 1,500 Canadian at the time. The balance sheet and all your accounts will still show $1,500, not what it's actually costing you now. So it's a bit of a difference there, but it makes the whole, and same thing if you have a US bank account, right? Like your US bank account changes in value every day, so Xero will show you those on the balance sheet. It will show you those accounts at what they're worth as of the balance sheet date, not what went into them, 6 months ago or however long ago, kind of thing. So one other advantage there. Okay, so a couple things that QuickBooks Online has that Xero doesn't have. So QuickBooks Online has Payroll, and it's got built-in timesheets with it and stuff like that. So that's pretty handy, other than the fact that they charge a fair bit for their payroll, and it does not have all of that many features other than like the fact that it's the timesheets are included into that. And so like it will handle direct deposit. It will obviously calculate payroll by itself kind of right off the bat. So that's the given. And will handle direct deposit to your employees, but it won't handle direct deposit to CRA, and it will prepare the draft T4 for you, but you'll have to download them from QuickBooks Online and upload them to CRA. And I'm not too sure that it does anything with ROEs or anything like that either. So let's just go. I'm in the plan here, and maybe before I get into that, maybe we should look at the two plans overall. So Xero has 3 plans. Starter, which is kind of essentially for very small businesses starting up that have limited bills, maybe consultant or something like that. So 5 bills per month maximum, 20 invoice maximum per month. it's got a standard which has unlimited of everything, and you can reconcile your bank. And it's got premium that includes multi-currency and a little bit more of a fancier analytics. And then you can add expenses for your employees. That would be if they have to submit for mileage or for like expense that they're paying out of pockets that is business expenses. And then you have projects here. So $48 for the standard, $67 for the premium. QuickBooks Online, I'm gonna they're giving me the 75% off right now, but I'm gonna sort of get rid of that, thinking that you want to pick one and come invest for the long term. So what are you in for after the first few months here? So you're on the essential for $54, which I guess presumably would be equivalent to the standard here, or you have the plus, and then you have the advanced. One of the things that's handy with Xero is you don't have a user limit on here, whereas the essential gives you 3 users. This one gives you 5 users. This one gives you up to 25 users. So that's a bit of difference. Multi-currency is included on all of them, but again, as I mentioned, it's not quite as good as what Xero has for multi-currency. So you have to pay a little bit more for Xero here, but you're kind of at actually not that much more, right? Like you have $54 here versus 67 for the multi-currency. So you're pretty close to. And it's got like, you have to, and everything else is, so everything else is pretty comparable. You get into projects and inventory. So inventory is built into the Xero standards. Projects is kind of an add-on here. I'm going to get back to that, but I'm not at the place where I would recommend, or Xero is not at the place where I would recommend using their projects system. But yeah, so that gives you a bit of a sense of pricing. So I think in general, QuickBooks Online is priced higher than what Xero is, and depending on what you're looking at, you can say like it's got like some constraint on the number of users that Xero doesn't have, and feature-wise, it's kind of like a little bit of a toss-up. So you have to look at all of that. But if we look at the payroll, which is the next screen over, to have direct deposits and sort of like what they call priority support and all of the time tracking, you kind of look at $55 per month plus $8 per employees. The one that we use with Xero is called, there's many of them, but like we use WagePoint, so I'm kind of going to use that one as an example. WagePoint costs $20 per pay period for plus $250 per employees for direct deposit. And it does direct deposit, does your payment to CRA, and does your T4, and it files them to CRA, and it does your ROEs, and it files them to Service Canada. So this one does your ROEs, but you have to still send it to Service Canada. WagePoint will do workers' compensations as well. So anyway, all of the things are pretty comparable, but for I guess if you had to compare, because this is per month, so if you had to compare WagePoints, which would have, say, 2 pay period per month, you'd be looking in WagePoint at $40 base fee plus about $5 per employees compared to 55 plus 8. And you would have a seamless process that takes care of all the payments to everybody, CRA included, whereas this one here, you still have to manually pay CRA on time, and you have to manually do your ROEs if you have any ROEs, and so on and so forth. The thing that it includes here is time tracking, and WagePoint does have a time tracking, but it's an add-on, so the add-on might shave a little bit of the difference, but actually maybe not even that much, because the time tracking works out to $4 per employee. So you'd be, if you had time plus the employees, if you look at it on a monthly basis, you'd be paying $40 for the payroll base plus you'd be up to $9 per employees instead of $8 per employee. So $1 more per employee to have timesheets done in and WagePoint. So anyway, all to say, it's included in here, but I don't know if this necessarily, like I would call it selling features, because WagePoint will do it easily, and it will. And the thing that's the beauty with both of those software, I guess, is that when you connect one of those third-party apps, oftentimes there's an integration that will push the invoices and push the payroll directly from one to the other kind of thing. So it's still not like a whole lot of like manual entry on the other side to like do it. Like literally when I do my payroll in WagePoint, I click a button, it publishes it to Xero, and I can just go in Xero and click approve, and it's 2 clicks. So pretty handy. So the other thing that's in QuickBooks Online is, if we go back one page, is projects. Oops, lost my page here. So projects is here. It doesn't, as I mentioned, I would not recommend projects in Xero. It's not quite, they're improving it consistently, but it's, unless you're like a sole kind of consultant or architect or engineer or something like that, then you have minimal kind of cost. And by cost, I mean like direct expenses like supplies and materials that you're using on a project. Like you're using it mostly for billings. It probably works okay. You probably can push it to like 2 or 3 employees, and that will probably work fine if it's mostly time-based kind of things. But beyond that, it starts to you start to be like seeking ways to work around a few things and get better reports and things like that. So I would kind of recommend you pretty quickly kind of move to a dedicated project management software. Projects in QuickBooks Online are a little bit more robust, but they're still a little like you still hit a limit on them relatively quickly, especially if you're like wanting to have better reports and track self-realizations on your employees and those kind of things. So it's a little bit more robust, but not like something that I would say like if you have scales or like dreams and ambitions of like grandeurs where you'll have like 10 plus employees and you'll want to look at that, you'll need a project management software dedicated sooner than later, and at that point we can have a separate discussion on those kind of software. But if you're kind of a smaller crew and if you have costs, like this one will handle costs relatively well overall and will allow you to build and all kind of stuff, so it's a worthwhile thing to consider. Any other big features? We talked about hub docs being quite different. The reporting, I think that's kind of one of the main thing for us is just like getting intelligence out of Xero, or like sometimes like honestly like this the reality is that there's still sometimes some errors that kind of slips in and things like that, and things that need to be reallocated and fixed and things like that, and to drill into QuickBooks Online compared to Xero, QuickBooks Online makes it such it requires so many more clicks and so much more time to kind of go through that than Xero does. So those are all some of the reasons why we've preferred to have Xero. It might not be having payroll, it might not have projects, but the projects software that we would recommend you plug in and the payroll software we would recommend you plug into Xero are much more powerful than what you would have in QuickBooks Online for sometimes, I mean, especially on the payroll side, for sometimes even less money, right? So the projects, I guess, is built in. So you have to look at it from the perspective of like, whether it's with I guess the question would be, can you get away with, what is this, $32 a month for project management software versus like, this is the difference between the $48 here and the $80 that gives you the projects here in QuickBooks Online. And I'm going to argue that the features you would have in a project management software for somewhere in that range would probably be a lot stronger than what you have in QuickBooks Online. So I think, and especially because the project in QuickBooks Online, most people would grow out of it eventually, and you'd be forced into that other one as well. Then you're paying $80 a month base fee for something you're not even using, plus whatever you have to pay on the other side. So that's kind of how we came to prefer Xero, kind of cleaner interface, better reportings, better customizations of reporting, and better kind of ability to drill down into things. And it's been a pleasure to work with. And yeah, and that's why we recommend Xero over QuickBooks Online. Although in some cases QuickBooks Online might may very well be the better options if multi-currency is not a big thing for you, if you need projects but you have a relatively small team and can be kept simple, and if you have payroll but you don't mind, you're very organized and you're gonna not miss your payments to CRA for their payroll remittances and things like that, then feel free to have it all under one platform with QuickBooks Online. Alrighty. Hope that was helpful. And if there's any more questions, welcome to join one of our MA call that we have once a month, or reach out directly and we can set up a consultation to go over your specific concern and questions. Cheers.